This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. It is a bright sunny morning. I must say it is exactly a few minutes past the top of the hour, and when I look outside, I see some sunshine, bright, contrary to some of the days in this month where it's usually raining. I don't know if that is climate change, global warming, but one thing that is clear, this is a month where we expect to be having rain. Looking at our two rain seasons of the year, the March to May, then the August to December. So we should be experiencing, but I'm just asking myself, what is happening? But away from that, we are having another important topic this time that we are discussing, and we are going to be looking at insurance. Now, we want to look at micro insurance, debunking the demand myth in Uganda. What comes to your mind when you talk about insurance? Many times people have lost property, and one hard thing is to get back on your feet. Because by then, maybe the very asset that you would have as collateral to get a loan is what has been destroyed. People have fallen sick, and we've had that talk of health insurance. We should have a national health insurance and all that. So the term insurance has been so much so everywhere. You need an insurance. You need to be assured that I'll get back to my feet the same way I was before this happened. But I'm not an expert at that. Joining me on set this morning to discuss this, I have Hamza Mutebi, who happens to be the general manager of Turaco Insurance Company. Now, this is also unique in its way because it's an insurtech, and one of the only two I know, I stand to be corrected, that while I sensed and given mandate to operate. When we talk about insurtech, it simply means doing things slightly different by technology. But you're most welcome, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Chiavo. Thank you for hosting me this morning. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning to discuss matters insurance related.
Now, to begin with, I want in simple terms a definition, or to create a picture to our viewer when you talk about insurance, just that bit. What are we referring to?
I can simplify it in two words. Risk mitigation.
Wow.
Think of all avenues, all methods, conventional, unconventional, that you can put in place to deal with risk or calamity should it befall. When we were growing up, our parents used to belong to social clubs at the village level. To Ezike, you can name to a Yambe. That is insurance at that level. The conventional way of addressing risk is you pull resources together into a pool of funds, out of which the professional insurance company would then pay to any of the members should calamity befall. That is insurance, simply put. When we talk about motor vehicle insurance, you have thousands of motor vehicle owners contributing into a pool managed by an insurance company that is licensed and regulated by the regulator. Should your car be involved in an accident, that is the pool from where we pay from. As simple as that. So it's risk mitigation.
Now, who wouldn't want to be rest assured that in case of uncertainty, then there is assurance somewhere.
That's true.
But let's look at the different types of insurance that we have here for our viewer to clearly understand more what you're going to be discussing.
Thank you. At a broad level, you have two types. At a broad level, there's what we call life insurance and general insurance. Now allow me to begin with life insurance because this is what in most instances, touches to the heart and soul of most human beings. As you hear the word life, this addresses matters to do with health and life. A couple of years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago, the Insurance Regulatory Authority requested us in the industry to demerge these two sectors. So when you hear of any insurance company, in most instances, they will either be doing one of both, but not both at the same time. So life deals with matters to do with health insurance, our lives, accidents, issues to do with maternity, issues to do with what else? Hospitalization events. So all forms of policies that would form or be sold by life insurance companies will address life matters. General insurance, on the other hand, think of any valuable in your home, in your surrounding, that you have an interest in. And in insurance, that interest, we call it insurable interest. Chirabo, you have an insurable interest in your iPad. So you can also take out insurance, so that if it cracks, you are compensated. You have an insurable interest in your vehicle, in your house, which is why you hear about property policies, fire, burglary, motor, you have an insurable interest in your crops. The government recently, and we may talk about that at length at a later stage, introduced crop insurance for our farmers out there through the Agricultural Insurance Consortium. So you have a insurable interest in your crops, because if they don't sprout, you don't make money. You have insurable interest in your furniture in the office. So that portion of assets, of tangible things, would fall practically under general insurance.
Now, that said, insurance companies have been in Uganda for some time.
True.
Maybe about 2 decades or plus.
Even more.
Even more. And one of the good things is being insured, whether life or general, where possible, life most important. But one thing that still comes to my mind, why then haven't Ugandans embraced insurance that much? I've covered a number of stories in my career. A factory is completely destroyed. You ask the person, are you insured? No. A school, people's businesses, fire guts and, vehicles, leave alone third party, which is mandatory. But even that, anyway. So, why don't we go for this very good thing?
True. I've been in the industry for close to 10 years. A couple of things come to my mind on this particular question. Number one is trust. I think that majority of Ugandans do not trust that we shall meet our end of the bargain when there's a problem. We need to address that trust barrier. There are so many issues around that trust barrier. Majority of them obviously have to do with how some companies were operating before. The trust barrier can also be looked at from the angle of culture. When I lose a loved one, the assumption is that my friends, my neighbors, my OBs and OGs will come through.
Our social capital.
Our social capital continues to play a significant role as a buffer. We then do not see any reason why we should have personal life insurance. My family will take care of my issues.
Contrary to our brothers in the West.
Thank you.
Where if your neighbor lost a child, it's okay. But here, you have to foot a number of bills. Commits also don't work out because you're going for burial, injecting. So
Look at how many people attend burials in developed economies versus developing economies. In developed economies, burials are ideally secluded for close family and friends. In Uganda, Chirabo, today if you tell me you have lost your neighbor, I might be obliged to come for burial in the afternoon, even when I didn't know the person. So culture plays a crucial role, and I think that has continued to be a deterrent to penetration, generally speaking. The other important issue is awareness. People are not aware of these things. They are simply not aware of what is out there. We need to do a better job. Obviously, the challenge with awareness, there's a cost element involved. Running all this information on TV, on radio, billboards, name it, there's a cost implication. And if you're running a business, you're worried about shareholder value. So where do you deploy the limited resources you have to be able to generate a much higher return on investment? Do you put a billboard out there, or do you simply use word of mouth and have as many agents as you keep seeing out there, so that, number one, you can also offer employment and generate a return on investment much faster? So awareness is still an issue, but we are doing more in that area. The regulator is doing more. The Uganda Insurers Association is doing more in terms of sensitization, and I think we are slowly but surely debunking, demystifying that problem. The other challenge, I think, for me from a technical perspective, is that we have a distribution problem as well. What do I mean by that? Insurance has continued to be distributed the only way we've known how to distribute it for so long. So that is through insurance brokers, it is through insurance agents, and obviously direct business that is largely generated by companies. We want to change that narrative in some way, shape, or form. We want to work through companies that are dealing with the mass market. Let me give you a simple example. We recently launched a very interesting health insurance product with Airtel Money. The product sits on the *185# menu, and it is as cheap or affordable as 1,000 shillings every month. There are three options there. When you have time, please dial *185, *7, *6# and look at those options. Very affordable. Now we think that distributing through such partners who are already working with the mass market, Airtel Money has 8 million customers. So you can imagine if we could innovatively figure out a way of ensuring at least 5 or 6 million of those, we would have changed the narrative in an instant. So there are so many challenges that we can discuss in that direction, but I think that technology, innovation, and figuring out ways of actually dealing with distribution the unconventional way will go a long way in helping us address some of these challenges.
Now, coming back to the issue of trust, I must say that this, yes, lack of information, if someone is given the information, they can quickly respond.
Yes.
But where there are trust issues, I want to give you a scenario. I've never really understood or found the usefulness of third party on a vehicle, because it's more time hard. That's why you see when Ugandans have these access, those sort of things, issues you've not, let's go to my garage, you know. They do this, or you go to your garage even before police comes in. Because I don't understand, to be correct, how many Ugandans have benefited from third party. You own a vehicle, you hit somebody, or it's involved, and your insurance company works on that. There's that belief that maybe these companies really do not live to fulfill the tail end of this agreement. That's why I want to bring you in, because whatever we say, if the trust issue is still a problem, people will still shun, fear, picking on various insurance policies.
I mean, I knew you would bring up that that issue of third party, I think for so long, one of the reasons we have failed to realize the necessary traction on third party is the accompanying limits. And also the fact that majority of our population, like you've rightly mentioned, believe that it is largely statutory in nature. I need to be able to drive up country to my village. I better quickly check on my windscreen if my third party is updated. If it is not, the police will stop me. Now, the limit issue is, I think, most of the insurance companies pay about $1 million shillings when you're involved in an accident. If you're driving a Range Rover 2010 model, there's a very high chance you may not be interested in that 1 million shillings. So you won't log a claim. Okay? If you're driving a taxi, matatus, you don't have as much time to go through the entire claims process. So people shun the process of actually going through a claim, and they would rather deal with their affairs P2P. Now, we need to be able to address that. And I think by introducing technology in the claims process, by introducing technology in the purchase process, we will be able to address that. I think the IRA is revisiting aspects around third party in general to obviously increase the limits. I think the discussion is on the floor of Parliament as we speak. Once those limits have been revised, I think we will see people take advantage of that little sticker they have on their vehicles. I was in Tanzania about a month ago, and it was quite interesting to learn that the entire process from purchase to claim has actually been digitized.
Wow.
And people are now taking advantage of third party. So it's a few changes into how things are being done. It's looking into gaps that are actually, pushing away people from taking advantage of the service that can go a long way in changing the narrative.
Okay. Well, we are still discussing matters of insurance and micro insurance to be in particular, but this guest I have is also very interesting because we are looking at insurance in a modern way of doing things. The digital way of simplifying. He mentioned one of the challenges why this industry is not being penetrated into, and of course the longer way, the traditional way of doing things that we must change. Now this takes me, when you talk about Turaco as one of the two companies that I know, maybe there are others, that are moving into insurtech. Now, how are you doing things differently to penetrate into this area where we feel there's so much potential, but Ugandans' absorbment has been low?
Interesting. The simple answer is utilizing artificial intelligence. API technology is what we want to leverage on. How does that work? Turaco operates a B2B2C model. How that works is we identify partners here who are already serving the critical mass. Our partners usually fall within the MNO space, the financial services space, so banks, MDIs, microfinance institutions, SACCOs, huge companies that are involved in the agriculture space. We then co-design and co-create products jointly, ideally addressing the demand of their end users. So I'll give you a simple example of the Airtel Money product that we recently launched, Hospital Center. That product sits on the *185 hash menu. It is designed for all the 8 million Airtel Money users out there. API technology makes it so easy to integrate with a distribution partner. Okay? Application program interface technology is what makes it easy for our system to talk to the distribution partners system. And then the end user can actually access that service ultimately. So we think that by actually leveraging on that and onboarding as many distribution partners who actually work with the critical mass, we should see a significant jump in the number of insured lives ultimately. Since inception, about 4 years ago, we now have 1 million people on cover. 1 million lives, thanks to technology.
Indeed, it simplifies things.
Yeah.
Now, this sector has been around for so long. These are new innovations that you're coming in, and I'm really happy that they are making it easy. But let's also look at the cost of insurance. You know, because according to your explanation, Hamza, you want to demystify the thinking that insurance is for the rich.
Yes.
Everyone needs insurance. You've just talked about that recently launched Airtel, is it Health?
Yes. Hospital center.
Hospital center. And you're targeting all the 8 million, you said. But of course, we know people on networks, it's Uganda, almost everyone who can, because the phones are even very, very cheap. But when you talk about insurance in a common man's gathering, people may look at you and, well, now you come from high end and they think this is not ours. So let's look at the cost of insurance. Or insuring whatever policy one may be going in for. But we shall do that simply after this short break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra. Upgrade your lifestyle with the all-new entry-loaded Chillax voice bundles. Now, call all networks in Uganda with Chillax voice bundles. Call all networks, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1# and select call all networks. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Ireland have qualified for the Women's World Cup for the very first time. It's unbelievable. What a summer to look forward to.
Big girl energy straight out the gate. When I'm up with my booty, I come out the place. And the sun coming up, blue day. On summer long, gonna kill it. Replay. Sydney, Auckland, making waves with my girls down under. Get it out, get your toe in my colors. We gon' be the best in it, I'm certain. Strikes defeat, fast as lightning, sound like thunder. Turn the world around, shut the show down. I was standing, couldn't slow down. Wanna hold on. Turn the world around, shut the show down.
What an amazing effort. Little John!
Turn the world around, shut the show down.
Whistle from Little John. Ireland on its way on the world stage. What a summer.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you should do? Just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
So this is my general perception. One, that this project entered in strategic areas of government, but that it has created a base for the now last mile strategy, which is the parish development model. And therefore this base that it has left will help us actually, and I'm sure we'll get better results in a Chole area and Ajumani when we are implementing the parish development model.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. Thank you so much for being with us. It is exactly 34 past the top of the hour, which is 9 a.m. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono, and I have my guest this morning who happens to be an insurer, and he is from Turaco. That is an insurance company. Now, what these do is they mitigate risks. That when the time comes, you're sure of a soft landing, you're sure of getting back to a position where you were or similar position. That's the reason why you should get insured. Now, before I went for this break, we were looking at an assumption, a belief that insurance is for the rich, not for every ordinary Ugandan. Yet my guest had just said that the health insurance they have is targeting all clients of a telecom company known as Airtel Uganda, about 8 million, which means not all are rich. So let's look at cost.
Interesting. We are trying to demystify aspects around insurances for the rich. When we go out there, people tell us that we don't think insurance serves the common person. And I think what Turaco is trying to address is change that narrative. I gave you a simple example of a partnership we recently launched with Airtel Money. If you have your Airtel line, you simply dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash. It will take you straight to the landing page for insurance. And on option 2 there, you'll find Hospital Center. We've designed Hospital Center to be so affordable that the cheapest package there is 1,000 shillings. The second most expensive is 3,000 shillings every month. And the most expensive you can find there, which I would recommend for everyone, is 5,000 shillings every month. If you buy that product and you get hospitalized due to any illness, and you end up in any hospital that is registered with the Ministry of Health, we shall pay you 100,000 shillings for every night you're hospitalized. God forbid should you pass on, and I know Ugandans don't like hearing this, but we shall go at one point, all of us. We shall pay your next of kin, Chirabo, your wife in this instance, 5 million shillings. Why wouldn't any average Ugandan afford to buy an insurance cover of 5,000 shillings? Those are, I don't drink beer, but I'm told that is one bottle of beer. So forego one every month and buy something for yourself and for your family. We are also working with other like-minded partners within the banking fraternity, within the MDIs, to be able to design something that we can tag on a loan, for instance. So if you borrow $1 million shillings from your banker, we can either add or deduct that 5,000 shillings from that 1 million shillings. So you walk away with your cash, but also walk away with health insurance for your family. So the whole narrative of insurance is for those people and not for us. I think it's something that will slowly fade away as we continue to design such affordable products for the mass market.
Now, what has been surprising in building this model of insurance? Very interesting. I must say it's a new thing where we are looking at insurtech. So what have been those surprising
It's been interesting, but also I must say personally I'm thankful on so many fronts. The regulator has been supportive. Very supportive. I think microinsurance, generally speaking, is an area that has been untapped. You rightly mentioned for more than 20 years, I think even more than 40, quite honestly, we've had insurance, generally speaking. But microinsurance has been untapped. So if you, for instance, talk about medical insurance, we have close to 40 million Ugandans. Only 400,000 have medical insurance. Where does that leave the 39.6 million Ugandans? Those 400,000 have it by virtue of employment. So if I'm employed at UBC at Turaco, I have medical insurance as part and parcel of my employment package. Now, those 39.6 million, I think, are individuals that can actually benefit from microinsurance, generally speaking, because they can't afford, largely, majority of them cannot afford what is on the market right now. So the regulator has been supportive. They have approved majority of the projects we are working on. IRA has put in place a sandbox for these sorts of innovation to happen. You're able to co-create, test your product before you actually launch it on the market through that sandbox. And I must thank them for being that kind of a supportive regulator for the industry.
Still looking at matters of insurance, now we want to look at some of the trends that may be upset or you're not seeing that is in this industry, because like we said, it is, I want to say a growing, because it's been there for some time. Neither should I say a stagnant, because with such innovations from Turaco, then it can't. But what are those trends?
I think that we will continue to see technology play a crucial role on all fronts. And by all fronts, I mean underwriting, pricing, distribution, and claims management as we go along. If you attend any insurance forum right now, any conference within the region, that conference will not end without hearing words like digital first, without hearing simple words like technology. Everybody in some way, shape or form is trying to utilize technology to be able to do better, either from an operations standpoint or a claims management standpoint. For us at Turaco, like I said, our API technology, I think, is going to do wonders in terms of distribution. It is also going to do wonders in terms of claims management. I'll give you a simple example, Chirabo. We now pay claims in less than 24 hours.
Oh.
The claims process actually starts on your phone. Once you get out of the hospital, you simply take pictures of that documentation, send it to us via WhatsApp. We'll quickly scan those documents, carry out the analysis that is necessary, and we'll pay on your mobile money in less than 24 hours. In the US, there's a company called Lemonade who set a new benchmark for us. Last month, they paid a claim in less than 2 seconds. So we are seeing technology change the narrative as we go along. And I think that I'd like to really implore folks out there to start thinking outside the box. We cannot continue doing business the way it has been done and expect different results. So talk to us, reach out to us, and we can co-create amazing things together.
Now, one of the things that you discussed earlier, and of course you've talked about claims. What happens in eventuality that this industry, that an insurer has failed to fulfill their promises? because usually hear that compensation from an insurance company is fairly hard. Good, you've said via technology, that is an improvement because it reduces human to human and all that. But do the people, in the bid of creating confidence and trust for this, do they have where maybe they can express from police? How strong is the regulatory authority? What happens in case I'm at this stranded point?
You appeal to the regulator, Chirabo. All players within the insurance fraternity must be licensed and regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. Part of the licensing requirements is that you must have the necessary minimum capital for you to actually transact in insurance business. In microinsurance, it's about 100 million shillings. So that money can actually go a long way in helping the appeals tribunal to offset claims against the aggrieved party in the event that the insurance company winds up operations. So in any case, feel free to visit the Insurance Regulatory Authority, log in your claim, they will give you a listening ear, and they'll help you deal with the company that is winding up. But I must also mention that in all the time I have actually worked in the industry, in the last 10 years, I have not seen a company close. We have seen takeovers, we have seen mergers of sorts, we have seen demergers, bigger entities creating life and general insurance companies, but we haven't seen companies winding up because the regulator, the approach they are taking is more of a risk-based approach to regulation. They're able to look into your books and know that you are either on a good trajectory or a trajectory that will sooner or later make it so hard for you to meet your obligations. And they will intervene as fast as possible. So we operate in a sound, regulated environment, so to speak.
Very interesting conversation about micro insurance and ensuring that in case of uncertainty, well, at least you have a fallback position that are handled by professionals, and we do not have the continuous lamentations if it wasn't the fire that gutted his business, if it wasn't the sickness that had health issues. We say, yes, he was there, but his insurer, because he had insured such either life or things still moved on. But in the interest of time, I must leave room for others, but let me just have your parting shot.
My parting shots, thank you. Thank you so much for hosting me once again. I'd like to take the opportunity to appreciate UBC TV for the interest in microinsurance matters. I would like to also applaud the insuring public out there to look out for all of these innovative products that we are tweaking. I think critical of which is the hospital center product. Please dial *185 hash, visit 76 down there and sign up as soon as possible for your interest, but also for the interest of your loved ones. Thank you, Chidaba.
Well, thank you so much, Hamza, and thank you so much, our viewers, for the time and being with us. See you tomorrow, same time. We'll be here from 6:30. That is when our morning show starts, Good Morning Uganda, and later this extension, Good Morning Uganda Extra. So much, and of course, interesting programs are coming your way. Keep it with us on UBC TV. For God and my country, have a lovely day.
Live from UBC's